Hi there, welcome. Come right on in. My name's Arthelene Rippy. The program's Homekeepers. And we are so glad to be here, so glad you are there. And I believe every day that we'll have new viewers. And so all of you new viewers out there, welcome. Hope you'll become a regular. You know, you'll find out later in the program that when we do a recipe, we offer you the opportunity to have it. It won't cost you anything. Most people email their request, and I can't tell you how much I enjoy the nice little remarks you make and the notes of encouragement when you email. And I wish I had the time to really respond to every one of them, but that's not possible because actually we're woefully understaffed in this program. But I want you to know I appreciate it and I take it to heart. There's nothing in the world like a word of encouragement, and it would be a good idea every morning to get up and determine to encourage someone. There's plenty to bring you down. There's a lot of bad news in this world, but I want you to know from the heart that I really do appreciate your kind words and so forth. We're continuing program week with the guests I had on in the last program, Carlin Maddox, who wrote A Path Revealed. And I guess to put it just simply, his wife at a very early age, the age of 50, was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease and lived another 17 years. And in his effort, in Carlin's effort to find help, find something for his wife to make her better, he encountered God in a way that never dreamed. And it was from the pathway of his Presbyterian church that he'd gone to most of his life to a monastery. And, you know, God has a really big kingdom. He's got children under different banners, you know, different denominations and so forth. And so we're going to pick up where we left off on the last program. So glad to have Carlin and this book. I have found gems in here that really serving the Lord for a long time I didn't know. And I'm so glad that I know them now. It kind of enriches your experience with the Lord when that happens. And I'm going to join Stephanie. We're going to make a chicken salad. You put it on a croissant. But you know what? There's absolutely no end to the way you can fix a chicken salad. I have one that I think is the very, very best, and maybe I'll bring it out again. I did it several years ago in this program, and I think it's the best. But this one looks good. We have had guests come on here and fix chicken salad, and some of them were a warm chicken salad, and it's just something that you can be free to put anything in it you want. This one looks really good, so we will put it together and try it, see if it is good. And I again want to offer you praying circles around your children. As I mentioned on the last program, we continue to get requests for this book, and that warms my heart because that tells me you're really interested. And if there was ever a day and age that we need to be prayerful for our children, boy, I pray for mine every day, and I pray God direct them, correct them when they need it. And I'm praying for 2 grandsons that God will bring them godly wives. They're grown men now, and that He'll bring them wives that will serve the Lord and want to establish a Christian home. It's wonderful. We serve a God that we can just kind of lay it out, and He's faithful. So this book by Mark Batterson, who's a wonderful pastor in Washington, D.C., is yours for any gift. The information's on your screen. You can call that 800 number if you'd like to purchase things that way, or write to me at Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida 33758, and we will be glad to get it out to you. And I know that if you're a mother or a grandmother, father or grandfather, that this is important to you, so I hope you'll take time to get it while we do still have it. And here's Stephanie again.
I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, we've had 2 or 3 recently that she made faces. And well, let's see, we did the tea biscuits. They weren't that great.
They weren't that great.
And then what else did we do?
The sweet potato fries.
The sweet potato. She didn't like that. And you weren't sure about the German potato salad. She didn't like anything.
Yesterday wasn't a good. That's when we tape those shows.
However,
this is going to be good.
Do you ever make chicken salad?
You know, not as often as I should. And I think the grapes is what's going to really give it a good yummy
Oh, yeah.
kick.
The one I was bragging about has a lot of grapes in it, and almonds and everything.
That sounds good.
We'll do it again.
Bring
And
it out.
Mine has a little tiny bit of curry in it. That's what sets it apart.
That would be good.
So, okay, just
Okay,
go
so
for it.
I'm gonna do these ingredients first. I have a half a cup of mayo. I'm just gonna mix these all up and then add the chicken to it. Is this a rotisserie chicken? Because this is the perfect recipe for a good rotisserie chicken.
No, I don't think that is, but
okay.
it would be perfect.
Yeah.
Now
A
this
third
is
a
the
cup-
curious.
a
That's
third
the
a cup of
curious ingredient
buttermilk.
to me.
Yes.
Who thought of the buttermilk?
Right. 2
And lemons.
teaspoons of lemon. And we have a teaspoon of dill weed and a teaspoon of dried parsley flakes. And we have a quarter oh. What in the world?
Do you want it in there?
Yes, please. And then
Pray for her, please.
please. And then we have a quarter teaspoon each of salt, garlic powder, and pepper.
You know, there's some
my brain.
really great seasonings in
Yes. So I'm going to mix this up real quick. And croissants. I mean, who doesn't love a good croissant? Okay. So
I like the way you say it.
Croissant.
You sound very French.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
A redneck French person.
I'm just
Oh.
very anxious.
That just looks like a good dressing for salad.
Ooh, it is a good recipe.
Is that good?
Very good.
Oh, that looks so good. Okay, we're going to put some chicken in here.
This is
This
2
is
cups,
2
I
cups
think.
of chicken, but again, this is a perfect rotisserie chicken meal. You don't even have to cook the chicken. Just buy the rotisserie chicken
Those
made.
rotisserie chickens are really a bargain.
Half a cup of the grated Parmesan. And we have
Celery.
celery. I'm trying to give, I don't see that on there. I don't see
I
celery.
think it's
on
about a half a cup.
there. Okay. We have a little bit of green onion. We've got cashew.
Half a cup of
Half a
cashews.
cup of chopped cashews, which is going to add a nice crunch.
There's no way this can be bad.
A cup of the seedless red grapes halved. That's what
Oh,
I'm
my. Isn't that
excited
beautiful?
about. Yes. Here, you want to be my sous chef and just move all these?
I
That'd be
love
awesome.
colorful food.
Yes. Now let me tell you, this is one of those things you want this to sit in your refrigerator, and you want these
You
flavors
want it to get married.
To get married.
Yeah.
Yes. And you want them
hang-
to all come together.
It's awfully
'cause
pretty.
Tomorrow, this will be the best chicken salad. Right now, it'll be yummy, but
I brought a couple of ways to eat it here, so we'll put a little on it. And then
this is going to be good.
maybe we finally got something that Stephanie will like.
Yeah. I'm really not that super picky, but
No, I know you are.
there's just some things I don't like.
Oh, boy.
Look how beautiful. Is that so good? I want to try. Is that your fork? Yeah.
That is delicious.
Okay.
Finally, something
That
she
is a
likes.
winner.
But we said let it sit around a little while.
It has crunch.
Uh-huh.
It has texture. It has flavor.
I will get mine out
Yes.
and we'll do it again.
Okay, you're going to have to
It's-
beat this one because this is super good.
I think I will, but it's been years since we did it. So,
Okay, let's bring it out. Let's have a chicken salad showdown.
well, I remember Phyllis Benegas, her husband was a youth director for a whole state, and she came in and she made a warm chicken
Oh,
salad.
that would be good too.
So,
Well, we'll say this is my chicken salad, and then you bring your chicken
Okay,
salad, okay?
okay.
And we'll have a
but
showdown. We'll have people taste
if you
it.
make that yours, you're not going to admit that mine's better.
Well, no, but
Would
we'll,
you?
we'll ask others.
Okay.
We'll be honest.
Okay, we'll have Brooke.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Brooke's
right.
my friend. No.
Now, we are going to continue talking about the book by my guest, Carlin Maddox, and that's coming up, but the information is coming on your screen. This is a chicken salad, and it's got a longer name than that, but that'll be on the screen for you. And it's absolutely free. We'll be glad to send it to you. Okay, stay with us.
If you would like a copy of today's recipe, just write to the address on your screen, or you can email your request to arthelene@rippy.org.
All right, my guest, carried over from the last program, is Carlin Maddox. He has written the book, A Path Revealed. And to give you the short version, his wife is diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and he went on a real journey to get help for her. But journey took him places that you never dreamed, right? Even ended up in Australia, right?
Even ended up with Australia. Before I get into that, I may want to take some of that chicken salad home.
Okay. Well, we tell our guests if you're good.
Okay.
We give you some. You were good last time, so
Well,
I think there's
we'll see.
And we will give you some.
Yeah, I call it an odyssey as much as a journey. An odyssey in the sense of you find yourself in a strange, bizarre, surreal kind of land, like Alzheimer's. And in hindsight, I saw that we were trying to get home. And home being into God's heart. And but anyway, yes, went to a lot of places.
A lot of surprises.
A lot of total surprises. It was not planned, and there was nothing planned along the way. I was introduced by mutual friends to an Anglican canon minister out in Sydney, Australia. We began a correspondence by telephone and fax. He had a healing ministry there in Sydney. I read a book of his, and it's called Your Healing is Within You, and also heard tapes of his, and I was just really intrigued by his approach and how he did all this. When my wife had a seizure, about 2 years into our friendship with this canon.
How long would that be since she was diagnosed? How far down the road?
I met him in 1999 by phone, so a year or two after that, she had a seizure, and I said, I've just got to go out and see Jim. I've got to see what he's doing. I've got to talk to him in person. He told me, Carlin, I can't tell you any more than what I've already told you. I said, Jim, something tells me I've just got to come see you. He said, okay. And he set aside a whole week for me and was both a spiritual guide and a tour guide in Sydney for me.
And as on the last program, we talked about Francis McNutt, Agnes Sanford, and they have very significant healing meetings. Now, was this gentleman in Australia the one who talked to you about the power of forgiveness, that was such a intricate part?
Yeah. I mean,
I've always heard forgive, but this one hit me right between the eyes.
It hit me too. I sort of, in my growing up in Christianity, I thought forgiveness was a nice, pious virtue that get around to, but it became very clear talking to him that this was a life and death kind of, it's either, it can bring good health if you forgive, and resentment can give you bad health. And then I was reading a book about that time by Frederick Buechner, who was an author and a Presbyterian minister. Could I just read that excerpt to you? Do you have just?
Sure.
This just really struck me. This comes from Buechner's book called Wishful Thinking. And it says, of the seven deadly sins, anger is possibly the most fun. To lick your wounds, to smack your lips over grievances long past, to roll over your tongue the prospect of bitter confrontation still to come, to savor to the last toothsome morsel both the pain you are given and the pain you are giving back. In many ways, it is a feast fit for a king. The chief drawback is that what you are wolfing down is yourself. The skeleton at the feast is you.
Wow.
And those together, it became very clear.
We, by rote, we say, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. But the power of forgiveness is really intricate to good health. I think that's been proven by psychologists, psychiatrists, so forth. But you told the story of forgiving your father, and he was dead.
Right.
And I truly believe that. I believe that the Holy Spirit can reveal things to you that, you know, you've carried this grudge, you've carried this unforgiveness for so long, and that you can be rid of that even though you can't see the person personally.
Right. That's happened on several fronts. It's not so much, I mean, I don't know what's happening on their end of the
Right.
of it, but on my end, it's just clearing up a lot of drudge and stuff that's inside of you. I mean, the one incident I relate in relation to my father is he was a good man, but he was a distant man. A lot of men out of my dad's generation coming out of World War II were emotionally distant. And I remember when I was 10 or 11, I would be practicing Elvis's move. Elvis was just coming on the scene, and I was doing the swivel hips and the pouted lips, and had an air guitar.
I would like to see that.
And one time when I felt I was proficient, I said, "Hey, Dad, watch this," and I started swinging out like Elvis, and Dad just pointed his finger at me and says, "Stop that. I don't want to ever see that from you again. I want you to, do you understand what I'm saying?" And I said, "Well, I guess I do." And I ran up to my room, and I didn't even think, I hadn't thought of that in
Isn't that amazing?
40 years. And then as I was just taking the time to meditate, this just came up, and I just had to deal with it.
I have a cough drop here, so don't let it bother you. As parents, we have no idea that we can inflict a wound like that just in our daily living. As parents, we ought to think a little bit more, but also that you carried that wound for so many years. And it takes the Holy Spirit to reveal it.
I didn't even know it was a wound. But it obviously was something that had to, I mean, after I went through some serious forgiveness in my mind and before God with with Dad, I mean, my whole feelings for Dad just began to unfold in a warm, loving kind of way. And interestingly, I'd heard a minister over in Orlando talk about it. Says, you know, oftentimes our feelings for our Heavenly Father are shaped by our feelings for our earthly father, which a lot of people have heard that of. But I mean, I began to sense a warmness with God the Father that I just never really felt before.
Yeah, that's why your book is so well named, A Path Revealed.
Yeah.
As I mentioned a couple times, he's wanting help for his wife who has Alzheimer's, and God is very interested in you becoming like him and what he wants you to be. I think we forget as Christians, this isn't home, that he's preparing us for something else. We're just traveling through here, and he wants us to make us like his son. I want to put the website up for my friend, and it's on the screen now. You can get the book through the website. I suppose it's on Amazon and those kind of places.
You can get any store. I mean, it can be ordered through almost any store.
And it's called A Path Revealed, and so if you're looking for it, it really has just every few pages, it has a gem. Like we talked about last time, the Catholic nuns used, you know, consider the difference of willfulness and willingness. That hit me right between the eyes. So what the Lord has, you know, revealed to you, now we can reveal it to a lot of people through your book. Okay, your Pastor Lacey, who's Presbyterian pastor here in St. Petersburg, he was talking to God at the Skyway Bridge, which is a very beautiful bridge here, and he said, God spoke and said, all your suffering, all your friends' suffering will ultimately dissolve into my utter and complete joy. Until then, you must permit me to capture you with my grace and my comfort. That is powerful.
It is. It is. Yeah. And then Lacey had called me up. I was at the office and said, "Carlin, we need to meet." And I said, "Okay, let's talk right now." And he said, "No, I got to meet in person." And so we made a time the next day to have lunch down at a park by Tampa Bay called Demon's Landing. And so he shared that with me, and then he said, the reason I'm here is Carlin, Lacey, what I've shared with you right now, I want you to go and take it to Carlin. And that just floored me. It just, when I heard that, we just partied at that point, shook hands, didn't say another word, and it's just, the rest of the afternoon I was just sort of in shock and awe.
Yeah, what a great answer, but it's not exactly what you were looking for.
No.
You were looking for help for your wife. And what I get from this is God is saying constantly, I want you to know me. I want you to know me. That's why I'm sending you.
That was the arc of this whole story, of just not really loving God and having an experiential love with God to sort of where it is now. And it's an ongoing kind of thing. It's not just something you get and you suddenly got it forever, but it's just still just building a relationship. And yeah.
Well, I've often thought, when I get to heaven, I really want to meet the Apostle Paul. It's very fascinating. And he said, oh, that I may know him in the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his suffering. And, oh, yeah, I'll take the resurrection. That sounds good. But I'm not really going after the fellowship, of his suffering.
The subtitle of my book, Path Revealed, is how hope, love, and joy found us deep in a maze called Alzheimer's. And somehow through this process, not just me, but Martha and our 3 children were lifted, transcended above just the symptoms that we were having to deal with. That's what.
Now, you've talked about how, her whole personhood would kind of diminish. That first seizure was so difficult. What was it like when you came to the point that you placed her in a nursing home? I had to do that with my mom. It's hard.
That was another one of those low moments, hard moments. And we placed her into a Jewish nursing home here called Menorah Manor, and it's just one of the absolute best that the care that they give. But still, that transition into the nursing home, that was tough.
I want to read something that stood out to me. It says, God continues to show our children, and toward the end of the book, you say how everybody's life was enriched by this. And me, that a wasting disease does not have to define who we are. You are not a tragedy called Alzheimer's. You are perfect and whole within our Father's heart and mind. And yet, I've asked myself many times, if that's true, why hasn't Martha returned to a normal, natural state of mind and body? And ultimately, my answer is, I don't know. That, to me, is a very mature Christian attitude. I knew Catherine Kuhlman, and she was, you put her in the faith healer category. I knew her. I saw miracles. I saw it. And I always liked, because she would come out, first service, she might be here for a couple services, and she would say, I'm just praying that someday everybody will be healed. And she said, when I think about that, and the question is, why are they not all healed? She said, I don't know. And there's such an honesty there. It's only God knows. He's the only one that can possibly know that. Well,
we all need to learn to live with paradox, just opposites, and realize that that's what we got to live with.
Another because at the top of the program yesterday, we were talking about what that Sister Elaine said to you, think about willfulness, willingness. And toward the end of the book, you write, willfulness is grounded in fear, willingness is grounded in faith. That's the hard part.
It is. I can't say any more to it.
But it's so true. To me, God got right down with you to the nitty-gritty of knowing Him.
absolutely.
Not knowing about him, not reading about, but to really know him. And looking back, you write about the effect on you, on your children.
Mm-hmm.
Do you thank God for this experience?
For much of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I do. I mean, one of the things with Alzheimer's that people who have mental disabilities, they're sort of stigmatized and
Mm-hmm.
put aside by our society.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw within Martha a spiritual connection that could not be verbalized, could not be shown physically. I mean, I would go into Monroe Manor and about 5 or 6 days a week, and Martha could be curled up in different positions, and I'd take her hand, and she'd sort of pull away maybe, and I'd say, "Martha, hi, this is Carlin." I went over to see Olivia, and she just, this was our young granddaughter, and talking to her a little bit, and then I would just sort of start getting quiet and meditate, and then Martha would just start relaxing and just be in a very relaxed spirit and whatever else during this time. And I just felt the presence there at those times that I rarely have felt before or since. It's just one of those things.
I truly believe, and I mentioned I've been through some awful stuff, but I wouldn't know the Lord like I do now,
Mm-hmm.
and that is the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And He uses those things
Mm-hmm.
for His ultimate glory, and that is, as the Apostle Paul said, "Oh, that I may know Him." And we are out of time now, but you've really outlined some wonderful truths in here. And the truth is that through it all, He wants you to know Him.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
He knows you for sure, but He wants you to know Him, not just know about Him and not just hear sermons about Him. Thanks for writing a really good book.
Thank you.
I hope that you got the information if you'd like to get the book. We are out of time, but join me next time, please, remembering there's no higher calling than that of a homekeeper. God bless you.
If you should miss a Homekeepers program, you can catch up by going to www.ctnonline.com. Click on CTN Programs and then on Homekeepers.